adventures.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm very excited about it. This is the first encounter where someone actually reached out to me, the person I did the video on. So I'm here with Garrett Kalkowski. And I guess your dad was kind of a little bit of a fan of mine, watched some of my videos, and he sent you the video like the day it
Yep.
happened or day
Yep,
after.
he did. He'd been watching videos about the Glocks, and he somehow came across a video and sent it to me the other day. So he was pretty excited.
That is so awesome. So I have to say, I'm jealous. I know everybody wants to hunt in Alaska, but I did some hunting with Stephen Bresnos. He lives in Wyoming, and he was just telling me about the antelope and all the elk hunting. And like here, I have to take a whole week off of work for a good hunt and get on a boat and airplane, sometimes both. But you guys have some really good hunting there. So I'm very
Yeah.
jealous.
Yeah, we're blessed, man. I'm blessed to be where I am and to have the availability of hunting where we are. So it's very cool.
Yeah. So you're 21 years old. Your dad's a
Yeah.
pretty experienced hunter. Sounds like he's been hunting for 21
Oh
years.
man, he's been shoot ever since, he could hunt 13, 14 years old. My grandpa started taking him, and he's been in the mountains his whole life, and around horses quite a bit. And around here, he moved to Cody in '98, and so
Okay.
he's been hunting elk, deer, antelope, you name it, since then. So he knows a lot.
Okay. And so Meeteetse is what, 20 miles from Cody?
Yeah, Meeteetse's about 20 miles south of us, and then
Okay.
the Grable, the main drainage, is about another hour and a half drive up into the Pitchfork is what it is, up the Pitchfork Ranch, and gets into
Okay.
that country. So that's about another hour and a half southwest.
Okay.
Yep.
Why don't you just tell the story, however you want to tell it from the beginning or whatever? Just tell me what happened, and then I've got some questions I'm dying to ask you.
Yeah. Yeah, you bet. No, just another normal elk trip we do. We're thankful enough to draw it was 61 was the area we drew. And
Okay.
so this is on the back side of this pass that we always hunt. So this is over into a good area. Pack in for a week. We have a big old line of stock and animals we're able to use. And we get in there. We came in a few days early for archery season. We got on some good elk archery, and um, didn't get one down, but I was able to tag out first day of rifle season, and
Okay.
went good. Second day was a little windy, pretty low key. Didn't see a lot, and then this would have been the day it happened. Woke up. We as a group, there was about 5 or 6 of us that went up all together. We were trying to get a few of us a bull, and we just went back into the drainage. I got my bull on opening day. It was promising. We seen elk, and sure enough, we get in there and there's elk. Um, we dropped the mules and horses, kind of split off, and one of our
Wow.
guys and his daughter and
You
another
guys had
guy.
mules and horses.
Yep, yeah.
Oh man, that's great hunting. That is awesome.
They're handy. They're handy, and you can cover a lot of ground with them, so that it makes life so easy.
Yeah.
Um, but no, we seen some elk, a couple decent bulls, and they dropped over kind of off into the drainage to our left, and that's where our buddy and his daughter tried going after this bull, and they got it. They were able to make a good stock on, and they shot it, and they put it down. So pretty good morning so far. It was just daylight. Shooting light had just come up, and they got the bull. It's kind of a replay of my bull on opening morning was right at shooting light.
Okay.
So anyways, we're looking at that, and we end up seeing a bull come into our drainage from a drainage to our right. And I thought it was a decent bull. I said, Dad, let's try to get after this thing. If it's unsuccessful, that elk of her name was Britain. Britain's elk, it's not going to rot.
Right.
Let's go try to get this thing, and they can start on it. So we headed up, and we were all on foot at that time, and so Dad and I just boogie. We don't own mules, so we're usually doing all our stuff hiking, so we're able to cover some ground, and we peel kind of the ridge, and sure enough, you can see it's timber, dark timber, and figured that bull is probably in there.
Can I ask you what caliber rifles you guys had?
I have a 300 Weatherby, which
Nice.
I did not have on me though because of, I tagged out. I didn't need it. He was carrying a 300 WSM.
Okay.
Is what he had on it, and then he had a 10mm Glock on him as well.
Now I got to ask you, what model of Glocks did you guys have? Was it the
So I
20?
got the Glock 20 Generation 4.
Okay, Gen
Yep,
4. And
Gen 4.
what does your dad have?
Same exact thing.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Somebody had commented that it was a Glock 20, but I was wondering if it really was or what gen. So, okay.
Yep. Yeah, he bought his, I think a year before he got mine for Christmas. They got me it for Christmas one year, and so
Okay.
he had his for about a year before, and he loved it. And he said, "I need you to have one," which thank goodness he did.
Chest holster, hip holster.
It was a hip holster. Is
Okay.
when I had it, and now I have changed the K9 chest holster.
Okay.
Since the incident,
Okay.
I was very pleased with how the hip holster performed,
Hmm.
but I don't like the fact that if I don't have my pack on, that holster's off, and I don't have the gun.
Yeah.
So I changed to the chest holster, and so did he.
Okay.
He
Good.
actually has been having kind of the military holster that's on your thigh.
Okay.
And
Dropped.
he did not like that. And then the scenario we had, he felt like it was just a cluster to get it. So he went to the chest holster as well.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Continue.
Yeah. No, yeah. So anyways, we get up onto this ridge and it's just cliffs and nasty stuff to our left and then just this dark timber to our right. And I mean, shoot, soon as we got up on that ridge, I spotted the bull. He was like 15 yards from us, raking a tree, and he ended up winning us. He wasn't that good of a bull, from what I had thought. And
Yeah.
Dad was holding out for a good bull. So we kept on marching up the drain or up the ridge. And for years, he's been hunting that area. He's like, I want to be in this spot. And so
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Let me turn around. Let me take a picture of this. This is pretty cool view. It was a bluebird, hardly any wind. There's a little downdraft. And took the picture, put it in my pocket. I turned around and it was just like that. There was branches snapping and gosh, hell broke loose. And he was about 3-4 yards in front of me with him hunting. So he kind of stepped up to the left, expecting an elk to kind of move out of this timber in front of him. He's ready to, think that's an elk.
Yeah.
And I immediately, when I heard that first branch snap, I just did not like it. I didn't ever think bear. I just thought this isn't good.
Yeah.
And so, those head holsters, they have that button you got to click before you can eject that pistol.
Was it a Safari Land or a Galco? Remember?
I cannot remember.
But it was a retention holster.
It was Blackhawk.
Blackhawk. Okay.
Blackhawk. Yep.
Okay.
Blackhawk was the one. So anyways, there's a button you got to push in order to get that Glock out.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that thing cleared that holster, she was there. 4.5 yards is what we ended up. The game warden's ranged where
charging,
she came out.
like running. Oh my god.
Yeah, she came low. I kind of remember her ears being down. I don't remember. I just remember seeing bear. I don't remember exactly what she looked like, but
yeah,
ears were down. She was coming in low. She was pissed off.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I could get that gun to my other hand, it was, firing as fast as I could possibly do. And
that's what I read in the article. You pulled out, you pointed it, and then you fired as soon as you slapped your support hand.
Yep.
Somebody said that you basically killed it with the first shot, and then your dad told you to empty the mag. Is that true?
Yeah, pretty much. I can't tell you exactly when I hit her in the frontal. I mean, I could about bet money I hit her in the frontal as she was charging me right there.
In the chest?
In the chest or the trachea, because there was a gunshot into her trachea right through the throat. Wow. And then there was 3 in her frontal. And then I had to pass through right behind her shoulder. When she turned sideways, I kept blasting her as she turned sideways. She kind of turned into a bowling ball after I hit her first few times.
Was there any spine damage?
No, I don't think. No, there was no spine damage.
Okay, so what do you think? What did they say killed it? Was it just organs or the?
I never got a full detail as to exactly why. All I heard was, he said good shooting, you hit her good. You could tell. I mean, it hit her good. Those 3 frontals and then that one trachea went right through her throat.
So you were just rapidly, just a few
Yep.
shots real quick.
Yeah, it was bam, 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 bam. I think it was 4 or 5 right there, and she immediately was like, "Crap, this isn't what I wanted to do today," you know?
So she
Um,
stopped or she dropped?
she kept trying to bite it, but as she was biting, she kinda turned into a bowling ball, and she
Mhm,
started rolling down this 'cause it's, it's steep into this timber. She kinda rolled as she's trying to bite herself,
mhm.
and she hit a log, like, really hard and just like, opened up like this. And I let off, and then that's when my dad said, "Pound her. Stop, dude,
Yeah,
don't stop shooting." So I emptied the rest of the mag in her.
okay,
And that's when I know I hit her and the rest, maybe the trachea at that point, I don't know for sure.
okay.
And I kept shooting as she started turning off that log.
Mhm,
But before she did, I emptied, I ran out of ammo. And
mhm.
that's when she raised her head. I thought she was dead. She raised her head looking at us kinda, and then that's when I yelled at my dad. I said, "Shoot her," and he doesn't remember exactly what happened, but he couldn't get his WSM off of safety,
Oh,
and
no.
he's clicking and he's freaking out, and I said, grab your Glock," and then that's when he got his Glock, and as soon as he got his Glock out, she folded off the log and went into the timber and just disappeared,
Wow.
and so that, and that was within 4 or 5 seconds, that all happened. And then, I immediately dropped my pack, grab 'em we had a discussion before the trip to grab another mag, and
Mhm.
thankfully I did. So I racked one in or put it in, racked one in, and then he radioed down to the guys that that was exactly what you heard. That was a Grizz. Stay where you are. Don't come up. We got to get out of here first. We don't
And
need.
your adrenaline is just pumping by
Oh
now.
man, my once I dropped my pack, my legs were just rubber. They're just shaking like crazy, and I'm freaking out like, "Dad, that just happened," and he's like, "Yeah, it did." He goes, "Freaking put your boots on again. We gotta get out of here." She's the way the land is, we had to go right down where she went into the trees, right where she went into the trees. But we
Wow.
could hear her in there. She was breathing and she was suffering. We could tell it wasn't, she was gonna go, but we
Yeah.
didn't know how injured she was or how pissed off she was.
Wow.
So, he kind of put his rifle at an angle where he could hold his Glock out and I could hold my Glock out. And we just slowly started working down that ridge.
Mhm.
And I mean, she was 5 yards from us, but it was such thick timber you couldn't see her. You could just hear that she was suffering, she was breathing. And thankfully, we made it down that ridge without any issues and we got out of there.
Wow. So, nobody ever says in the articles what ammo was used. So I gotta know, what 10 millimeter ammo did you have?
So it's the HSM Bear Load 200 grain.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 1,041 feet per second.
Okay. That's
Yep.
amazing because me and Chuck have, Chuck from Alaska Ballistics, is like we're friends, but he's like my enemy. We always battle on here. And
Yeah.
we tested those and he doesn't like those. He thinks
Oh,
Buffalo Bore is way more powerful, but that's a testament to the hardcast. So
I
was it hardcast or
we don't know, and I'd have to
okay.
do some research because we've scoured that box
Uh-huh.
of that ammo, and we cannot find where it says.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
I
What did
gotta
it
do
look
some
like?
research.
Did it look like, brass covered or was it just all lead colored?
Yeah, if you don't mind me, I can show you. I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
I
Show
got
my
my Glock right here, actually.
nice.
So that's kinda
Okay, yeah, that's hardcast.
yep.
Yeah,
So,
that's hardcast.
yeah, so that was, I don't know. We were actually just I was out at my dad's today, we were talking about it, and he has,
Uh-huh.
I think it is that Buffalo Bore. It's 220 grain, and it's about 1,200 feet per second,
Right, which
and
is a
he
little
said
more
and that's what he had in his Glock at the time.
interesting. I was gonna ask
So
that if you had
he, like he said, he had the HSM for backup if he
mhm.
needed to put another mag in if something like that happened. But with me being the only one that shot, and that's all I had was this HSM stuff, it worked freaking flawlessly. So,
Worked. Have you
yeah.
ever had a jam in your Glock 20 when you were just out at the range or anything?
Nope,
Never.
never, never. It
Yeah.
and I've heard that on those. I don't know about the Gen 4s, maybe you have, but I've heard on those early gens with these bear loads, it's been jamming up. But like I've told everyone, I mean, I fired off at least 5 or 6 right away, and then it was the other, 7 or 8 right off of the, right after that, and it was
I'm s-
flawless.
I'm starting to think the Gen 4 is the best because when the one I had, it never had a jam.
Yeah.
And then my Gen 5, it jammed when I first bought it, but then I cleaned it and I couldn't get it to jam after
Oh,
that. So
really?
yeah.
Huh.
So
I don't know. I'm thankful it went the way it did and the way it performed, but
yeah.
um, I don't know. I'm curious. Maybe I'd like to try some of that
Mhm.
buffalo bore stuff. I don't know.
Well, this is a testament to that Grizzly ammo. Now I'm pretty impressed because
Yeah.
maybe it penetrated enough. It had enough.
Oh, yeah.
I'll add up the foot pounds of energy, but
Yeah, and I
um,
can send you the picture. I have a picture of the feds were cool enough. They let us get some pictures. There's a good picture of after they skinned her, the bullet wound that went right through her vitals behind her shoulder, and it was a clean pass through.
wow. So
Yeah.
all the way through. Did all of them go through, or were some of them?
I think the way she was angled, those ones that hit her frontal, I think they ended up kind of towards her butt. They didn't make it all the way through.
Wow,
But
that's
those
still good penetration.
yeah, and I guess I'll add this too, just a testament to this ammo. It ended up snapping one of her femurs.
Wow.
It didn't, when she turned around, I kept shooting and it snapped her femur.
You
So
guys are this is such a great story because a lot of the other stories I've told this fall, guys got chewed on. Like those
yep.
guys they got chewed on. I'm really glad you didn't fall back too, because one of the regular things that it's pretty common, people blow their toes off and they blow holes in their toes when they're shooting at a bear and their legs flip up.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So boy, everything just came perfect for you.
I really did. I don't know. It's weird how, my dad, the biggest thing to him was he doesn't even he can't comprehend when he saw that, from his point of view, when he saw that thing coming out, the only
Mhm.
thing going through his head was how did I react that fast? And I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't even remember the thing coming out of the holster. It was just in my hand and there was shots going off. And, I contributed to having one in the chamber. I just started doing that this year. I don't know why it took me that long, but thankfully I did. Um, and shoot, it's funny. It was a scary situation, but in the moment when I first saw her, it
Mhm.
was more like, "Hey, let's go. This is, it's business time and it's time to take care of what needs to be done."
Yeah.
That's the only thing that was going through my head was it's game on and this is what you've been learning and thinking about your whole life.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Did
it
you
was one
guys
of
have
them.
bear spray on you at
Yep.
the time?
Yeah, I had that Kuiu harness under my binos. I had one in there, but
Okay.
when I heard the branch and everything, there was not an inkling of thought for bear spray. It was gun, you know.
Yeah. Do you think it would have blew through a cloud of bear spray when it was charging if
Oh,
you would?
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And even if I did have the chance there, like I said, there's that downdrift coming in, just a
Mhm.
breeze, and it would have blown in my face and she wouldn't have cared. She would have been on me. Maybe it would have, got into her after a few bites on me, but she would have chewed on me for sure if I
Yeah.
had sprayed that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't
Um,
know. I we went up deer hunting 2 weeks after that and I ripped it off. I didn't even take it.
yeah.
Just, and there's a lot of cases it'd probably be good, it'd work, but
Sure. If they
I
weren't charging and they were ways back,
yeah,
air
yeah.
horns work good too. Did they say how much she weighed estimated or?
They don't know exactly. Their guess is about 500 pounds or so. She was a sow that dropped her cubs, I think, last year. She was collared, actually.
Okay.
She was a trouble bear down south of Wyoming, and they moved her up towards us. And she actually, in a month before I killed her, she was, oh my goodness, as the crow flies, 30, 40 miles where
Wow.
they dropped her. So, anyways, she was a lone sow, not super big, but she was you know, plenty to do damage for sure.
500-pound grizzly. Yeah, that'll
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
Wow. Were the authorities pretty understanding?
yeah,
You guys? Okay.
yep. Thank goodness we were able to get an inReach message off to my mom, and she got a hold of the main bear biologist here in town, and they ended up getting a crew together and met us at that drainage. There's a cabin at the bottom
Hmm.
built years ago, and they ended up getting a crew in there the next day because we
Yeah.
ended up tagging out on my dad's bull that night of the attack.
Right.
So we were able to meet with the Fed guys, and all the way from that cabin up to the bear encounter
Mm.
site, they were questioning me hard. They were
Yeah.
wanting to know everything.
Right.
We found the bear. drug it to an open spot, and as soon as they skinned it open and they saw the bullet holes, they shut up and they didn't even ask me where my brass was. They were,
Okay.
they're like, "Hey, this is a slam dunk. It's self-defense, no questions asked."
Yeah. Good.
So,
I don't like to get into politics, but I get a lot of hunters commenting like, well, Yellowstone and all this, if they would just open up hunting on all, some of these brown bears, then maybe they wouldn't be attacking people so much. Did you guys ever talk about that or have any thoughts on that?
you know, with the Fed guy, we didn't. Um,
Mhm.
in my honest opinion, I don't mind seeing a grizz
Yeah.
400
They're
yards
cool to
away, and if
see.
it's minding its own business.
Yeah.
But when you have, for instance, there's a peak a few, I don't know, 50 miles south of where we were, and they did a flyby in a helicopter, and they saw 116 grizz on that peak in one day.
Wow.
When they're trying to tell us that the recovery numbers are about 1,000 in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem,
Right.
you know, I don't, like I said, if I see them, it's okay, but they need to be educated to a point, and they need to know if they see us, they need to leave and they need to get gone instead of, she had all this window to leave and go the other way,
Yeah.
and she decided to come at me. So, I don't like to get into it either, but it's getting old, and it seems like we're seeing more encounters. We're hearing more stories every year. We're
Yeah.
hearing of more bears chewing on people every year. So I don't know. They need to be they just need to be educated. I don't know, to a certain
Yeah.
point.
And it's weird. I hunt on this island called the Fognac Island, or I've been there 3 times. It's very
Yeah,
similar to Kodiak Island. We don't call them grizzlies; we call them brown bears there, but it's the same species.
yeah,
But
yeah.
as soon as they hear a gunshot, they just come for it because they know
Yep,
it means a hunter got a deer,
yep.
and they can take it from them no problem. So it's weird that it's the ringing the dinner bell, they call it.
It is. Yep.
So.
It sure is. It's the same way here. I mean, this would have been the last time we had that tag. So this was 2018. We
Mhm.
had 3 guys up on the pass shoot some bulls, and they had grizz on those bulls before they could get to them because 'cause they're just dinner bells. They're like, "Oh, cool. You got a elk down. I'll come get it."
Yeah, and it just blows my mind because I started this series like 2 or 3 months ago, and I literally have something to talk about every Friday because it just
Yeah,
keeps happening.
I believe it. It's more and more you hear about them. It's ridiculous. We ended up running into a guy, on the way to meet the feds, and he ran into a grizz, had to kill it just the ridge over from us 2 weeks before I did.
Wow.
And it sucks because it's almost like you're starting to hear them and you can't be surprised about it.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm sure it happened," kind of deal.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys are okay.
Yeah,
I'm
we are.
glad the Glock 20 worked out for you. I started my channel about 10 years ago, and people used to make fun of me because I talk, oh, 10 millimeter Glock 20. This is
Mhm.
really good for bears. And I would just get ripped on and people, oh, that's not going to work for
Yeah,
bears. Here we go. It's now undeniable because just
it
this
is.
year alone, it's
Yep,
worked for so many people.
it
So
is. Um, I don't know. I have guys that swear by the 454 Casuls, the 500
yeah.
Limbaughs, the 500 Smith and Wessons. If that's what they're familiar with, that's great. But you can't deny the fact that having 15 rounds
Mhm.
is. I mean, I can't imagine having 6 rounds with the case I had. I can't imagine.
How have you done a lot of training on drawing and firing, or do you think your adrenaline just helped you and took over?
Oh my goodness. I shot that thing in August a few times, and I shot it a couple times maybe in September. Just
Wow.
screwing around,
Yeah.
really. And I don't know. It's like I probably need to do more shooting, but the way
Mhm.
it turned out was amazing, and it truly was my instincts and adrenaline, and that mindset of let's go, it's game on. It just needs to
Yeah.
happen, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, um, but I think I do need to get out more. Just be aware of it more.
You think somebody up there was looking out for you when you had that idea to keep it in the chamber instead of
Oh yeah,
not in the chamber?
oh yeah, the good
Yeah.
Lord above. But it was funny. My buddy, he's a guide here, and
Mhm.
he has grizz deals all the time, and
Yeah.
he told me at the beginning of the season, and I do owe a lot to him because if it wasn't for him, I might not have had one in the chamber, really.
Wow.
So he's a big deal to it too.
Yeah,
I appreciate him, stepping in and telling me that, which
good.
makes total sense. Why not?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for reaching out. That was an amazing story, and I'm so happy that it didn't turn out like all these other newspaper articles I
Right.
looked up
Yeah.
where the guy gets his leg bit up. So,
Yep. Me too, man. I appreciate it.
all right. Well, thanks for sharing, and I'll
Yeah.
keep in touch.
You bet.
My name is Chuke. I like to trade my guns just for fun, but now I have none. Oh, look, get shot by a bear, but I don't care. I got a 10mm. Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. Watch you all die every time.